Mr. Speaker, I rise in support of H.R. 2812, the Middle Market IPO Underwriting Cost Act. I'd like to thank my colleagues from both sides of the aisle, Representatives Himes and Lawler, for working on this important piece of bipartisan legislation that will help ensure that our IPO market remains competitive and attractive, especially for small and medium-sized companies. I'd also like to thank Mr. Himes for his willingness to work with the majority and specifically Congressman French Hill of Arkansas to reach an agreement on this legislation. Staff have been working on this since the bill was marked up in April, and I'm happy to see that the study will now be carried out by the GAO in consultation with the SEC and FINRA. Companies have two ways of accessing capital in the securities markets to fund their operations: an initial public offering, IPO, where they sell securities publicly through a registered offering with the SEC, or a private offering under an exemption from registration. Accessing capital through an IPO is a significant step for a company because there are considerable upfront costs as well as ongoing increased costs associated with the company's reporting requirements as a public company. Before an IPO, companies often spend tens of millions of dollars gathering and compiling mandatory information to submit to the SEC and make available to the public for the sale of its securities. The SEC itself has estimated that the average cost of just achieving regulatory compliance for going public is $2.5 million, which may not include additional costs of hiring professionals to help undertake the IPO. However, additional data is required to achieve a better understanding of the costs of the added regulatory and professional services associated with undertaking an IPO and becoming a public company. As a result, the study required under this bill will help Congress and the market better understand the costs associated with small and medium-sized companies to undertake initial public offerings, IPOs, and become public companies. Mr. Speaker, H.R. 2812 is a balanced and a thoughtful bill that will give us the information to better understand those costs with going public so that Congress can continue the work to make our public markets the most attractive and competitive in the world. And for this reason, I urge my colleagues to support H.R. 2812, and I reserve the balance of my time.